How's it going, everybody? This is going to be a little bit lengthy of a tutorial on how to do the worm gear, so I'm going to try and get started as soon as I can here. So what you're going to see first is obviously the libraries over there. I'm going to drag and drop the plate, rotate that around, make sure that that's in a good position, press OK, and again, the first piece we always ground that piece, just so it doesn't move around and we can make other pieces that go around it. Then we're going to come in and again bring in some of these other pieces. So I need two of these. And just zoom out a little bit so we can put these. Press OK. Put that one over here. Press OK. I need two of these corner connectors that are going to basically, if I look at closely, these are going to, I'm going to rotate these up. One this way. Press OK. Move that one over there. And you can either just drag and drop two in there, or you can come over here, find it, right click, and a mover copy, and then create copy, and then rotate this one exactly 180 degrees because it's the exact opposite. Move it over, press OK. So there's multiple ways of bringing in the same file twice. Got that pieces going. Oh, I need the pegs. So these are connectors that actually connect and just pop in. Same deal. I just press OK. I kind of like I think it's easier to drag and drop them. But you do you. I need 4 of those. Okay, bring it over. And then I'm going to bring in this worm gear. Worm gears can be used in a whole bunch of different places. But we're just trying to show you that the variation of one energy is transferred to another piece. And then the 36 gear tooth. Rotate that around. 90 degrees. Move that over here. Press OK. And then last but not least, we need one of the shorter 2-inch axles for the gear. That over, press OK, and then the longer 4-inch one is going to go all the way across. Okay, just kind of move that over here. Okay, so now I have all the pieces. I got everything relatively close to where it needs to be. I'm going to close this just so you guys can see a little bit better. And what we're going to do is constrain these, obviously, first and put all the joints in. So kind of build from the ground up. Each one of these pieces, I like to use this little rim here. And I know that that goes right here. And I'm getting all this from that PDF that you guys already saw. You can see it's revolving. We don't want that. So we're going to come over here and change that to rigid. That locks in. That's good. Same thing here. Do another joint. That bottom rim there. Silly gear. Right there. And I want that one to go over here. I already made that one rigid, so we're good there. Looking good so far. I put these connectors in next. Joint. I like to do the other side. This little rim and then this little gap. Just so that this piece is perfectly flush there. A little satisfying to me. Joint again. Scroll into that. To this. Same concept. Press OK. And those are again solidified. We don't want those moving. We want those to all stay the same. Do the same thing to the other side. We want this part to touch that part. Press OK. Joint. Go here. Go there. Press OK. Okay, now we got those. And now we can put these connectors, these 2 plates on there as well. And again, those are just joints. Those are rigid. Put that one on this outside here. Piece, okay. And again, these are all rigid, 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 rigid. You can see all the signs and all the little emblems there. Joint again. I want this piece to move to this piece. Again, just using those edges to my advantage. Oops, wrong ones. I'll cancel that. Bottom one. is what we want. There we go. Locks in, press OK. And now, again, none of those are moving around. They're all locked in. We're good to go. One piece I did miss is this bushing here. So this is called a shaft bushing. And all that does is allows the gap to follow so that I can put an axle in there. Flip this like this, press OK, just so that I can put this little link into one of these spots here. I know, again, from experience, just by doing this before, you press joint. We want that right there. We want that to be here, right? No, we want it to be here. There we go. Press OK. And then again, rigid, it's not going anywhere. In this case, we do want this bushing to be a revolute. So I'm going to come back in here, motion, revolute. I do want that to be able to spin. I do not want the axle to be able to spin inside of this bushing. I want the bushing to spin inside of this base, if that makes sense. So again, I'm going to do joint. I'm going to put, oops, cancel that there. I want that to be top, and again, hold control if you can't get it. And we'll push that down, let's say, sure, 25, make it up pretty up. And I want that one to be solid, so again, motion, I want to be rigid, press OK. And when I turn this, you can see it's still turning because the bushing is turning, not the axle. You can put the gear on there while we're here. Control, oops. Get it close, hold control. I want that center to be here. Again, hold that down, and we can adjust this in a bit. Just like 20. Looks good. Press OK. Again, if I turn the gear, it'll turn along that axle because it's solidified to that axle. Put the axle in next, and in the axle, I'm going to make it a revolute. So change that first. I want this one to go into here. I want it to go on this side, and this one was pretty even. If I pull over here, zoom out a little bit, I think it was 25 is what I did. No, it's 20. Just make them even on each side. I just pulled that, and now I have that. And if I turn that, it'll turn inside of there. This one will turn here still. We're good to go. Now I need to make this worm gear. Last little piece to put together. We want that to stay on the axle. Back to position. Hold control. That center. I want to this center. And again, just somewhere in the center is fine. There's no measurements here. The document will say to put it exactly here. It doesn't really matter. We'll make it work. So we'll press OK. And from this view, it's perfect to see that this is a little low, right? So if I click where that rigid constraint is, which in this case, I believe it's up here, double click it, it'll show me that I can move this up, and it'll even preview the other things so we can kind of, you know, position it correctly. So I know it needs to go up, put it to 18, press OK. Still not tall enough, so I'm going to move that again. Okay, it's this one. 14. Let's try that. There we go. And all I was trying to do is make this gear in the center of this worm here, so it would move like that. It's a little trippy to look at. But now we're going to position it even more so that these teeth interlock with these worms. So I'm just going to literally just moving this piece. I'm going to the top view here, just so that there's a gap on each side. Nothing fancy there. Move those pieces there. We should be good to go. Now we're going to make sure that this revolute and this revolute are synced together. So when I move one, they both move. And to do that, again, we're going to do that motion link, capture position. I'm going to say this joint and this joint should be locked together. Now, obviously, again, speed is an issue here. I'm going to reverse that one so that it goes in the right direction. That's correct. And I'm going to change this one to 10. And that means that this is going to go in one 360 rotation at 10 degrees per second, basically for here, per rotation, not second. Regardless, you won't need to know any of that. I'm just trying to show you guys how these are animated, and these are the numbers you mess with to make them timing correctly. So again, no hands, just showing you when you put these things together, they will, if you put them correctly and mess with these numbers correctly, you'll see that they join together and rotate together perfectly. So take a screenshot of that, or screencast of that, I should say. And that is all we need to do. And if you ever want to see it again, you come to joints, find a revolute, any of those two revolutes, animate model, and then you'll be able to see all that. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, ask your teacher. Thanks, guys.